So today we've got 20 internal medical trainees who are attending for a multimodality simulation day. The first of which will be a sort of classic mannequin-based simulation. The second will be some virtual reality simulation. And then thirdly will be some didactic lecturing. And what we're hoping is they'll come away with some understanding, improved knowledge of stroke care, but also provide us with some perspectives on how these modalities compare. Do they feel that there's an incremental advancement that virtual reality offers? We're in a sort of stagnant period post-pandemic where people are trying to just focus on delivering clinical service. But in amongst that, we're trying to innovate and ensure that trainees feel like they're important, because they're an important group of future doctors who will be, leading stroke services in the future. So we're keen to make sure that they're involved in their training development.
I think the VR sim was very interesting, something I'd not really done before, and it was nice to see the technology applied in a new way. The only other experience you could get of doing would probably be actually seeing it happen, which is obviously something that can't be arranged in a teaching session as easily. It was probably the closest you could come.
Clearly the immersive experience adds an element of enhanced concentration. I was not only witnessing a scenario, I did feel I was a part of the scenario itself, which really helped me to not only understand what's happening, but also to a certain extent feel what I should have done under circumstances like that.
360 provides us with a means of delivery that we hope is as near as we can in terms of VR to them experiencing simulation. We can give them the same model of learning so they can experience it. We can use reflection then to debrief them and for them to get the essential learning points from it. We can also use the 360 video as a standalone medium for e-learning, and we have that package up on our local site for learning management. So doctors can then access it at any time and complete it at a time that's convenient to them. They're not tied down by coming to us and having to fit that around their clinical duties.
Incorporating VR would be able to kind of have this style of simulation teaching being delivered pretty much on a weekly basis, or particularly for important scenarios like acute medical emergencies, and just deliver a higher quality of teaching through that. So I can certainly see a place for this being incorporated into the teaching curriculum.
If implemented in the right way, it has a huge potential to increase the efficiency, both practical and theoretical, of future healthcare professionals.
Since the COVID pandemic and increased pressures in the ward areas, time for training is something that's constantly under pressure. Also, our ability to deliver to high numbers is also sort of like compromised with simulation. So for example, the session that we've run today, we can usually facilitate 4 of those sessions over the course of a year for the doctors, and that gives us somewhere in the region of about 32 places. Well, if we think of the doctors that have been through today, we've almost accommodated that on our one session today.
So what we're hoping to do is procure more headsets as a consequence of demonstrating an important use case here, and also use that to drive funding for more content, which I think is an important part of understanding where we could take this technology.